What's up, Dual Coast fans? Good morning, everybody. We have a very special episode this morning. Me and Russell are joined by the No Eggs podcast. No Eggs podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Pang, Cam, and Danny, thank you again.
What's up,
How are you
guys?
guys doing this morning?
Doing fantastic, man. It's pretty chilly up here in the Midwest. I know you guys are from both coasts, and we're here representing the good old Midwest.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I was there a couple of months ago, and I missed that cold, spurt by 1 week.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Russell, you
You-
were there right at the warmest front,
Yes.
right before the cold hit us.
Really?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
fantastic timing. I loved it.
Yeah, I think that this weekend is supposed to be the coldest that will be this year, I think. So
I
What would that
Just missed
temperature be?
Yeah, what's that look like?
I don't know, like what is it, negative?
15?
Later,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Double digits.
negative 15.
yeah, it's pretty. Cold.
Back in January of last year, I experienced the coldest I've ever experienced in my life. I was in Pittsburgh in last January, and it was -7. The wind chill. Nobody's outside. I was, because I wanted to get coffee, and
Yeah.
as long as you're
That's a warm winter day
dressed
for us.
properly, right?
Yeah, usually.
So I was
Yeah.
prepared
Yeah.
because I knew it was going to be cold, and it was an amazing experience. But I'm in, and then I'm out, and after about 5 days, and back to Cali.
Yeah, that's your cold
I'm not bragging.
exposure for you.
He's bragging though.
I actually, it was in board. I'm in board shirts every day, but Friday we played beach volleyball. It was great sunset. So tell us a little bit about you guys. Tell us about Paying No Eggs is your baby. So tell us
Yeah.
about the No Eggs podcast, man. Give us some insight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like Danny said, I guess it's my baby. But yeah, we started the podcast like about almost like 2-3 years ago. It was just me and a buddy of mine's. We were podcast friends, and we'd always talked over the years about potentially doing one. And then one day he hit me up and he said he got a mic and he's got some recording devices, and he said, let's do a podcast. And we said, what are we gonna do it on? And we're both business owners, and we're both big onto like mental health, and so we kind of mash up the two and do like a men's mental health podcast. And then that ran for about like 2 years, and it ran its course. We had fun doing it. We had a blast, had a great following. But then eventually, his business started picking up, and then he needed some more time to kind of dedicate to that. And then I was just left stranded, And then luckily,
What a lonely
Danny,
feeling.
Yeah, Danny and Cam came out, from the trees, and they just swung down
Out of
and
the
picked me
woodwork.
up. Yeah, swinging from
Oh, that's
vines,
funny.
And so I'm super grateful for them, and I love their energy, and it just makes so much sense. Danny being a therapist, and then Cam kind of working in the mental health field, it just kind of makes sense. And right now the focus right now is just mental health podcasts, and it's like a men's mental health podcast. And when I reached out to Danny, I felt like there's too many guys, like too many men doing content for other guys.
Yeah.
Too many guys sitting in the room talking, and then there's also like too many girls just sitting in the room talking, making
Yes.
content for other girls.
Yeah, that's true.
So I figured I think it'd be a good idea for a men's mental health podcast to also include a girl and include their perspective, and just to kind of increase that dialogue between the genders. And I think in today's world where men are so lonely, I mean, Danny's probably for our listeners, Danny's probably the only pretty face that they'll see. So we figured we'll give them that much. So, but yeah, Cam, Danny, take it away. Like I said, I'm blessed to have you guys. I'm super grateful. You guys bring a lot of energy and a lot of fun to the podcast, and yeah, I'm blessed.
That's awesome. Well, before you guys chime in, Peng, I got to ask, how is your mental and physical health this morning after working a 12-hour shift?
Oh man, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I've been doing this for quite a while. Like I was saying off the air, the thing they don't tell you about um, leaving your career to chase your dream is you just end up getting another dumb job in the meantime until the dream works out. And so, and it looks like I might be at that job for a while. So, but yeah. Oh, did I cut out? Let's see
Nope,
here.
you're there.
No, you're good.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, on Tuesday mornings when you work that, 12-hour shift, just jump over to prayer at the church,
That's it.
for Tuesday mornings.
I think I might have to start doing that. Let's see here. There we go.
Oh, that's amazing. So,
It
Cam
works.
and Danny, tell us, your take on the podcast,
Yeah.
and what was your experience coming in, and now that you've been doing this for a bit,
Yeah. Yeah, I can go ahead and go first. But I'm completely opposite from Peng. I do need my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I can't do those 12-hour days. So not there yet, at least. Maybe when I get children or something like that. Um, but yeah, me and Peng, we've been friends since high school. And then when he did reach out to me, I was a little skeptical about it, just because I'm not really used to, firstly, speaking, or I'm not really good at public speaking or speaking in general. And also, it's just the feeling of having your thoughts and your people seeing you, that aren't really your close friends or anything like that, hearing your thoughts, hearing your views, and possibly judging you from afar. So yeah, that was my take on it. And then I realized, you know what, I'm not really doing much anyways besides just working the 9 to 5. And that's when I decided to, kind of hop on a podcast. And also I started an eating channel too, just because I kept seeing so many different videos and things going viral. I was like, let me try to hop on that social media train. So I was thinking, what better way than to start that channel and also join the podcast. The experience so far has been great. Danny and Pang, they're really great co-hosts. They know how to kind of carry things because they carry. I'm usually there in the background, sort of chiming in here and there. Um,
You're just there
and
to look good.
yeah, no, I'm just there to kind of say something stupid here, from time to time. But yeah, the experience has been going really well. I mean, I would say I never thought of myself ever being as a part on a podcast or being a guest anywhere. So yeah, it's been really delightful, and I am really enjoying it. And again, today is Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. here in Minnesota. So we're a little bit tired, but I mean, especially
Yeah.
Peng, especially, but he doesn't show it though.
Yeah, now look at him.
Right,
He's fresh.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, right.
I got to say, though, that Danny's dog looks like, got bored with what you're saying, Cam,
Yeah.
because it looks like it's done a rollover, and so I don't know what to say, but, let's liven it up. All right, Cam? Oh, Danny, what about you?
Yeah, no, I thank you, Dan and Russell for having us on this podcast. We were so excited. I think we've been talking about it. And so being a part of the No Eggs team has been it's an adventure. And I don't think I went in with any big expectation of, oh, this is going to be, like make it or break it. And so I think, coming in casually, just kind of giving my insight as a female, on a male mental health podcast. It is fun. And, oftentimes when I give perspective of a woman, I'm seen as, a feminist, and it's just so funny. And I'm like, you guys,
I apologize.
No,
I didn't realize how shitty
Got thrown in the
people
fire.
can be to women online.
Yeah, no, it's totally okay, right? But like Peng said, it's nice that I get to provide that perspective. And so I really do hold that privilege in this position, with high regards, because I think I don't want to represent all women's voices, on a men's mental health podcast, but it is a perspective and I try to think back on all of what my friends, my women friends are saying about men and what they're experiencing. And I'm just like, guys, it's a collective voice. Trust me. So, I love podcasting, and it's been so fun. I think we started in April, right?
Yeah,
and so
Almost a year.
almost a year. It's our
Congrats.
second it's season 2 of No Eggs, and it's been such a great time with Pang and Cam. And while we try to keep it very lighthearted and, you know, centered around mental health, we normalize a lot of things that we're experiencing, right, as humans. And so we bring in very real experiences, and
That's
we
awesome.
talk about that.
Right.
And I love it because I can yap for days.
And
You
that's
know,
why
we
got our own
talk.
podcast.
Yeah, we talk a lot about nutrition and eating well, and eggs are a protein. However, your title is No Eggs. So how did that come about that it's a No Eggs podcast? So please, one of you describe.
Yeah, so no eggs. So it's actually kind of it's like a play on word. Nongke is the Hmong word for testicles. And so but instead of calling it nongke, I think for our English speaking audience, it'd be easier if we just call it no eggs. And it kind of has the same connotation. So we figured it'd be kind of it's appropriate as a men's mental health podcast to call it balls.
I feel like it's a double entendre because, you know, women, their uterus, we have eggs.
Everybody's got eggs. Yeah.
That's where I was thinking. That makes sense.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's a great name. I like it.
Yeah. We just kind of got lucky. It was actually the previous co-host when we were playing around with names. His wife actually brought it up in the background and was kind of laughing at, and brought it up as a joke. And we said, why not? Let's do it.
Why not?
Yeah. That's actually like super fitting for us. So
yeah. Well, thank you for describing that.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's unforgettable.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, I think this mashup is it fits really well. I mean, you guys focus a lot on health, nutrition, and kind of improving yourself, and I think the last episode you guys talked about kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and really making yourself uncomfortable for the sake of like bettering yourself. And it's kind of what No Eggs is about. We talk about a lot of our trials and tribulations and some of the things that some of the learning curves and bumps that we've encountered along the way. And so this is a great mashup, so thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I met Danny a couple of months ago, or a little over 2 months ago, and we got to meet with Sally Fu, and we had dinner and we had ice cream and hung out. It was an amazing time, and then heard all about the podcast. Heard all about.
Where was my invitation?
What's that?
Where was my invitation?
Danny?
Dinner and ice cream?
Yeah, exactly. It was my first time meeting Russell, and it just kept going. I think like as soon as I met Russell, like we just kept talking nonstop, and it was like, this is perfect. Oh my gosh, like I have to tell the guys about this. And yeah, I think it was just the best meeting, and it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
hopefully next September, I'll put a little plug. Hopefully next September, the two of you guys, we already know Danny's going to be there because she's speaking, and we've got our event coming to Minneapolis. So really excited about Impact event there.
Okay. Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Dan and I'll be there.
Danny told us about it, so we'll do our best to be there.
Yeah, well, we might have to incorporate you into the night so we know that you're going to be there.
There you go.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
No working that night.
Yeah.
No pressure.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like me and Russ kind of started up in the same manner, honestly, like with the podcasting and everything. Like I'm kind of like Cam, honestly. I didn't have much experience in this whole idea, public speaking. Russ was kind of into it already. Like, Russ, you already had been on some stages and stuff like that when we had met, and, you had moved Today 365. And, we kind of hit it off, and we were just like, what do we do? And we pondered for a while, honestly, on like how we're going to do something together and what it was going to be. And then we were down in Springfield, Missouri last year now. Right, Russ? Last year? Year before.
24.
Year before last year. Yeah, 24 now. And we're just like, we're going to figure out a podcast, and like we're going to talk about mental health, physical health, and stuff like that. And we didn't get much talking done that morning that we had planned on. But we ended up hitting it off, and it just worked out, and spiraled from there. And now we're a year deep this month.
Yeah, it was crazy. We were in New York City, and we were both at a conference together. And I only knew of 2 people that were going to be at the conference. It was only 30 people. It was very kind of an intimate conference. And so I was going there knowing I'm going to know 2 people plus Craig Siegel. And soon, you go up the elevator, a couple of flights or whatever, and the door opens, and Dan, who I didn't know, and another guy, Paul, who I didn't know, are standing right almost in the doorway, right? So you can't help but meet the 2 people that are blocking the way, unless I was going to be a lineman, take them both out.
That's how you make a statement at a conference.
Yeah. So hey, I'm Russ. Who are you guys? And that's how we met. And then we didn't talk again that day until later that night. 6 of us went out to the Hard Rock Hotel, which is where I was staying, and we had dinner. And even still, Dan and I were separated by another gal. True. So we didn't even really talk that night. And then we went up to the penthouse to this vibing, jamming music night. And that's where we started kind of having some dialogue. And then a few months later, we were at another conference, and then we really started, talking about, hey, we should do something. We got a good vibe. So that's kind of how that whole thing came about. And here we are. We just, like you, we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. You guys are coming up on yours. So yeah, it's been an amazing year, meeting all kinds of people, just like you, Pang, and Cam. Danny, I already knew you, so that's why I didn't mention your name. So we're 2 months old. Come on.
Yeah.
We go way back.
Exactly. We have history.
Well, Russ, you got to let us know what the secret is, man. You seem to be like hitting, killing it at these conferences. It seems like every conference you go to, you make like a really great connection with people. I always have a tough time at conferences, man. So like, what's your secret? Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you able to kind of make these like meaningful connections? You met Dan and Danny at 2 different conferences, and here we are on a podcast together.
I know, it's amazing,
so
right?
What are you doing, Russell?
So I'm gonna immediately put it to Dan, because he has a statement that he lives by, and he says it all the time. So I'm gonna let him start, and then I'll answer your question.
That statement is put yourself in the room, and I know exactly what he's getting at. So I'm a huge proponent of just putting yourself in these rooms. You listen to Chris Williamson at all?
No,
I haven't.
Chris Williamson, big podcaster, and he had this guy on, Scott Galloway, who's a professor at NYU. And I kind of revert back to this statement a little bit. This podcast is actually fairly newer, and I've kind of lived by this statement beforehand. But he always says, put yourself in rooms you don't belong in. Meaning that with people who are above you success-wise, we'll say out of your league, for lack of better words. And I've lived by that statement now. Just put yourself in the room. Introduce yourself to people next to you who have no idea. Me and Russ have gone to several conferences together, probably in the realm of like 5 or 6 now, I guess, something like that. And everybody next to you is in different paths of life. They're tech people, they're engineers, they have this company, that company. And we've met so many people just sitting at the table. So I'm a huge proponent of just putting yourself in the room and just seeing what happens. It's amazing what happens when you just walk around one of these conferences and just start shaking some hands and say, hey, I'm Dan, what do you do? And actually, the most recent one I went to, there's this guy, Jason, who Russ knows very well also, who kind of was bringing me around a little bit. He's like, we haven't talked to those people yet. Let's go talk to them. And I'm like, man, that's embarrassing. Like, I don't know what to say. So anyway, I'm just like, all right, cool. And, that's kind of how you have to be, honestly. Just walk around, throw yourself out there and see what happens. So put yourself in the room is the statement that Russ was looking for out of me right there.
Yes. Hey, that's great intro. In 2024, I was asked a question. Actually, at the very last 2 weeks of December, I was asked a question by Craig Siegel in New York City. We were having coffee at the Hole on the East River. And he asked the question, Russ, what is your word for 24? I was like, in my head, I'm processing this super quick, right? I was like, I don't have a word. Like, oh no, and this all happens in a split second. But boom, it hit me. Intentional. And from 24, 25, and now 26, those 3 consecutive years, I've started carrying a word of the year. Intentional change, everything. Everything. Because just as Dan said, you put yourself in the room. If you're intentional about it, right? You can meet as many people as you want. It doesn't mean that you're going to become best friends, right? Because there's so many people that I have met that I never talk to again. But when you're intent and you just feel like, okay, I love this person's energy. I think, we align together, right? And we can do great things. When Dan and I finally did starting having conversation, we knew that we could do something, right? So you got to get uncomfortable, but you got to be intentional. So when I went to Minnesota, Jared Sebesta was having his first event there. And I went for 3 reasons, and this is intent. I wanted to support Jared. I wanted to meet 2 of the 3 speakers specifically because I align with them, which I did. And then I wanted to network. From there, I came up with a list of about 20 people who I've been in contact with, specifically Danny. And I already knew Sally because, we had met. And I basically, what's the word? I followed her on Instagram through another individual, so I ended up meeting Sally, and she's like, "Who is this guy?" And she's got some weirdo with long hair is stalking me on Instagram. And then Sally and I have become best friends. It's been an amazing time in getting to know her. Then she came out to my event last May and met her husband, Michael. And, it's just, you build these relationships by putting yourself in your room and being intentional about it. So it's overcoming that uncomfortable. It's overcoming your self-doubt and knowing that you can do it and you can meet people. And that's, really it is. And, I still feel uncomfortable going into a room because I don't know people, just like if you guys walked into the room and you didn't know people, it's the same feeling, right? But you've got to put yourself in the room first, and then just, some of these people you're never going to talk to again. Some of these people, most of the people you're never going to see again, but there are going to be ones that are going to help you, that you're going to collab with, you're going to have on a podcast, you're going to meet people, you're going to network, and then you build a relationship from there, right? So I appreciate that question, Pang. It was a long answer.
Yeah.
But it's true, right? It's true.
It's true.
No, that's very true. I mean, I always say, like, everything positive in my life, like, I'm not really good at or great at anything positive in my life. It's just it's come from just showing up, that's why, like, I'm big in participation trophies. I just show up to things and I happen to be there, and shoot, sometimes I'm the only person that showed up, and by default, I'm the guy. I become the guy. And so yeah, and that's just kind of, I kind of live my life kind of in that same way, where I do what I want. I left my career like some time ago, and now I'm on the farm. Didn't grow up farming, didn't grow up with animals. I mean, I had a garden in the yard, but now I'm on a couple acres, got sheep, goats, chickens,
That's awesome.
and so we're just winging it. We're just, and figuring it out as we go, and just trying to be fearless and trying to, put myself in uncomfortable spaces, like you guys said, and and it's working out. The craziest, I mean, that's the craziest thing, is that it's working out, of of all things,
Yeah.
and so we do a lot of, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just plug the farm a little bit, but yeah, we do a lot of, like, educational stuff. So being from the inner city, like, and moving out here and to start the farm, I just realized that a lot of kids in the inner city don't know much about food or where their food comes from. So
Right.
me coming out here and learning this, I get to bring my animals into the city and teach kids about that. And so, we're, 6 years into the dream, we finally kind of found our business model, and, we found our niche,
Good.
and I think that just, hopefully that encourages and lets other people know that, it's plan A, plan B, plan C isn't going to work out or as you planned it. But, if you stick with it long enough, if you're dumb enough to stay with it long enough, something will click. So
Yeah.
Um,
So Cam and Danny, do you guys eat what he grows on his farm?
I've had his
they're more
bread,
fast food type guys.
some honey, bread, honey. I think I've had just bread and honey. It's really good though. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, no, I think Pang's honey is amazing. And there's a paw balm that I use for my dog's paws. And so I think, Pang is rocking it out there. I think when it was like baby goat season or whatever, we didn't eat it, but I definitely wanted to take one home. I was like, I'm just gonna imagine raising a goat in a downtown city apartment. Like,
Hey, they're the same size as the dog. So
I was gonna say, I think your dog is
have
bigger.
a 110-pound dog, you can have a goat. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. Guinness needs a friend.
Oh, look, responded.
Yep. You heard it.
He's like, I sure do need a friend.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my two girls are about to give birth any day now. I have to swing out there to check.
Wow.
We left the buck in there for a little bit too long, and I think he got into them, and so we wanted to expose them a little bit later so they can have the babies during the warmer season. But stuff happens.
Yeah.
Now I get a baby goat.
Yeah. So let me know when you're ready.
Talk about being out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
I love.
Just wing it. Just take it home and figure it out.
That's it. That's
it.
it.
6 years down the line, you'll figure it out. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't have to know all the answers. I think that's how I get into a lot of my messes, you guys. And then I also have this I love being uncomfortable and trying new things, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm too far to stop now. Oh no.
Yeah, I think I was in the same position last year when we started the podcast. We started doing these type of events, going to places like MC and stuff. I was very uncomfortable last year, but I'm getting used to it now. A little more used to it. Every now and then you still feel uncomfortable. But yeah, Russell, as you said, kind of going there and talking to people, getting to know people, being intentional about it. I mean, I tried doing that myself, and then I realized, oh wow, I'm starting to sweat a lot. So I go to the bathroom, but yeah, I think it's just a skill that eventually, you'll develop more and more. So yeah, being uncomfortable has helped me out a lot too.
Yeah. Well, go with the the dry antiperspirant instead of the spray. That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll help you out.
And it's definitely a skill. Like, it's definitely a muscle you have to kind of work on. Nobody just kind of has it. But I think something we're all kind of talking about, is just kind of like a bravery, right? Like, what do you guys think? What characters in us that allows us to kind of just so bravely go about doing whatever we want, whether it's going to conferences and connecting with people, whether it's starting your food channel, Cam, and Danny, you get yourselves in all sorts of trouble, so you're all types of brave. But what is that? And how do we I'm a father now, so how do we drill that into my kids or the next generation or people around us?
I would like to say I have ADHD, so
yeah. That helps. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, a new shiny project.
Yeah, be careful. You're gonna end up on the farm.
Yeah, I literally thought of that. Okay, so speaking of wild, crazy things, I thought of getting a farm because we've been going out to Pang's farm to kind of record the podcast, and I was like, wait, how can I get a farm? So I really looked into it, right? And then I was like, okay, if I was actually in the service, so if I served, I would get a veterans grant, right? And so I signed up for the Navy, you guys. I applied.
I remember you brought that up. I was like, are you sure? I was like, have you thought this through?
Hey, if it works, it works.
That is
Luckily, they did not call me back. They were like, 100 pounds, 5'2". This is a liability.
Isn't there a age limit?
Yeah.
Hey, it
Weight
is-
limit.
Okay.
There's a weight limit.
There's an age limit. It's 39. I'm only
Okay.
turning 35, so I still qualify.
That's
They
true.
still
4
don't
more
want me
years.
though.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's funny. That is real commitment, though. But
Yep.
Exactly.
I respect that.
ADHD.
So is that how you spread yourself thin?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, what a great idea. I'm gonna get my farm. Don't listen to me.
Well, I'm always
Oh.
looking for a farmhand, so you can sleep
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the animals, hang out in the barn.
Get your boot kickers on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So I won't recommend anyone try my way because it really is like fuck around and find out kind of deal.
Right.
And then Russell, like roughly, like how old are you guys? And do you guys have like children at all, or?
I'm 37. I
He's
don't
going this and I'm doing this.
Yeah, he's
Okay. Yeah, 37. So you're not much older
37,
than us. Yeah.
Yeah.
28. I'm 28.
Hey,
Been
I
surfing
see
since
it.
I was 12.
I see it.
I'm 58. 3 kids, 5 grandbabies, 3 sons on
Wow.
the East Coast, 2 girls here. Oh yeah,
You've lived a full life. You've won.
I've won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've won, man.
There's
That's amazing.
having kids is one thing. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're in it every single day. And Dan, he, I'm trying to get him to propose to his fiance. I don't know why he's
Oh.
dragging his feet so long. But anyway, so trying to make that happen. I keep asking him, almost weekly, like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? You know what I mean? He wants to have kids. Like, dude, get married.
He does. That's true.
Yeah, me and Dan's in the same boat. Yeah, I don't have kids yet. I am 34. I got married. Let's see, 2024. So it's about to be 2 years now.
Yes,
So
yeah.
eventually, we're gonna start trying. But right now, it's just kind of still enjoying being kidless. I'm not ready for those 12-hour days like paying.
Hey.
Right now. Yeah.
It's tough, but it's worth it. It's worth it, right, Russell?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Been there, done that. And being a grandparent is unbelievable. And I'll tell you a quick story, because when my first grandson, who is 8 right now, when he was getting ready to be born, my oldest daughter said, Dad, what do you want the kids to call you? And at the time, I'm like, in my late 40s. And I said, well, Grandpa is way too old for being in the 40s. So scratch that one, right? So anything that has to do with like Grandpa, forget it, right? Well, my son, who's 29, soon to be 30, he's like, we always say back and forth, what's up, dog? DAWG, what's up, dog? So
Very West
every
Coast.
day we talk almost every day, what's up, dog? So I said, I know what it is, Brienne. And she goes, what? And I go, G-dog. And she's like, G-dog? She's like, no.
Hey,
My
I like
kids
that.
are not going to call you G-Dog, right? So, just so you know, just the other night, I have 2 granddaughters here locally, 7 and 5, and they call me G-Dog, and they don't know my real name. They have no idea that my name is Russell, right? And so the other day, they're in their dad's car, and they called me because they saw me on the road. So he calls me. And they're like, G-Dog, we saw you on the road. Every time I hear G-Dog, it melts my heart. Okay? So the fact that I came up with that delicious name, I'm so grateful for. So
That's awesome.
Love it. Love it.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Dan, what's the holdup? Did your wife listen to or
share with the
fiance
world,
listen
what's
to
the holdup?
podcast?
Of course, she's listening right now. Of course,
She's
I
gonna
see
listen. Yeah, she's listening right now. She's like,
Put him on the spot.
that. Yeah, that's a bad spot to be in. No, it's
sorry.
He is, his
apologize.
color is changing right now.
up against the white background, Russ. But no, it's coming soon. It's coming real soon.
Okay. All right. We won't ruin that then.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming real soon. I got the plan and everything devised.
Ah,
That's
I
perfect.
love to hear that. If she's
Yeah.
listening, she's probably smiling from cheek to cheek.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Either way, like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. My only sign, which happened almost every day, was every morning get up from work. And then my wife would say, "Hey, where's my ring?" where's my ring? And that
No.
was like every day for like a month. I was like, oh yeah,
I'm
that was a
starting
good
to
sign,
get
You
right?
didn't actually want to do it. You just got pressure to.
I'm starting
You
to
know
get
what?
that more though. I'm starting to get that statement a lot more now. Like, is the ring in the house? Is the ring in the house?
Right?
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. So, Peng, you have two?
Three
Three.
daughters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm blessed, man. I'm in a house with 4 girls, like, which is perfect because I need direction in my life. If I'm not being told what to do, I'll just get more and more animals. So, the 4 of them keep me pretty busy.
So that's why you started a male podcast.
Yeah, exactly,
You needed
exactly.
balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just
And then you
rub
had to
off.
bring in a
Yeah,
female, right? You just can't
Yeah.
get away from the
you
female.
gotta keep things fun. You gotta keep things fun, and and the girls enjoy hanging out with Danny too. So
I'm sure.
yeah, and and then we shoot the podcast at the farm, so it really is just
That's so cool.
it is just an excuse to just hang out with people. At the end of the day, we have fun
Yeah.
doing it, and I think we're all I'm learning different skill sets, messing around with the camera, the lighting, messing around with the editing and stuff like that, and it's actually like transferable to like the farm, and I actually really created the podcast as just as a means to promote the farm, just rather than paying for ad space on TV,
Yeah.
paying for somebody to make, make a video and put it together. I said I'd just get my own camera and then create a podcast. That way I can control my own narrative and kind of put out what I want to put out. And yeah, it's actually kind of helped out a lot. And then now the podcast has actually opened up a couple of different opportunities.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like Cam was saying, I think we emceed this like music fest, this small music fest, which was crazy. Like we haven't done anything like that, but
Super uncomfortable.
yeah,
It was fun.
yeah. I mean, it's one thing to like talk in a basement, in front of a camera, but like, man, when you're standing on stage next to like 100 people, it's pretty wild. So,
Yeah, and they're expecting you to entertain them too, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You're
Yeah.
not just introducing the next artist. It's like, oh gosh, if we're boring or bland.
And and they didn't let me take my shirt off or anything. So
Yeah.
I mean,
anything to get the reviews.
That's it.
No, but we also I think we did a 10-hour.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
See, it was so uncomfortable we forgot about it. Yeah, no, but it was fun. Yeah, we hosted a pickleball tournament, and was it 10 hours or 12? I don't remember. It was such a long time.
10 to 12.
Yeah. But we ended up
streaming.
live streaming the whole event, and I mean, we were just talking throughout the whole 10 hours, interviewing players. Danny was great at like interviewing some of the athletes. We talked to like the owner of the pickleball place, like, and pickleball actually turns out pickleball is a thing, and it's super fun. Yeah, we got a chance to kind of play and learn a little bit too as part of the live stream. And Cam, you play pickleball pretty like often now, right?
Probably like once a week. Before, I mean, in the summertime a little bit more, but like once a week.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you guys are a big physical health podcast too, right?
Yes.
And so like pickleball was, I mean, we're 30s. We're all in our 30s. You're in your 50s, Russell. Sorry, which isn't a bad thing. But like your body's aching, your bones are aching a little bit more. And pickleball is fantastic, just because it's not so tough on your body, but yeah, you can still get a great workout. You're still running around, still sweating, and it's a great time. And we learned a lot about pickleball, and we just, I mean, it's crazy. We just continue to get more and more opportunities. And it's just started from putting ourselves out there and kind of being in uncomfortable spaces.
Sure.
Keep going back to that, but
I think one of the biggest things I saw through that through that live stream and pickleball tournament event was how strong the pickleball community is. Like everyone seems to know everyone, and they're like, oh yeah, we've played each other, and it's just friendly, even though this was an actual competition, right, of like rankings and stuff. Everyone still came in very friendly, you know, just looking forward to playing with each other, having a good day. And a lot of people stayed there for a majority of the day because they just like being there. They like watching other people play. They like playing themselves. They have the kids play, just meeting each other and having a good time. And I really love when a community can come together and really just thrive off of like this one shared experience.
Yeah.
So.
It also helps that there's a bar there too. So
Okay, that was very helpful.
that's the other great thing about pickleball. Most pickleball like places, they have a bar. It's like, you know, you can get food, you grab some drinks, and you just go and hang out with your buddies and kind of hit balls together.
Yeah.
I think Guinness is ready for a morning walk or something, or just,
Exactly.
you know, what's going or
he's
food.
like, all right. He had his breakfast, but he's just ready. He's like, okay, when are we going out to this perfect weather?
Oh yeah.
Dan and I experienced something similar. We went to the Pittsburgh Marathon
Yeah.
last May. We're going to be going back this year. We went only on Saturday, which are 10,000. There were 10,000 kids running 1 mile and 7,000 parents.
Yep.
Wow. So we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we've seen pictures and everything. So we stayed at the hotel where the finish line is. So we're looking down at that. And we had a booth. Then you walk over the bridge to the other side where the starting line is, and they had, I don't know, Dan, how many, like A to R, A to T, I don't know, different. There was a lot, and there was thousands in each heat, right? So we were just going for it, you know. So you put yourself in the room, in this case, put yourself in the parking lot, and we're going around and interviewing people, just having a great time. He went on the course, I went the back way get back to the booth because we had a bunch of giveaways. We're interviewing people and just having fun, you know, with the kids before the downpour happened, and then the place vacated.
Yep.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're troopers because, they're Pittsburgh, right? Steel town. So, a little bit of rain, no problem. But then there it came. Yep. And, Dan and I were pretty much done at that point. So we were like, all right, let's go back and chill in our rooms and, and then we'll reconvene in a couple of hours. What's that?
You guys weren't there to run?
No. We weren't there to run. We were there as podcasters. So yeah.
I did do the course though. I did do the course.
There we go.
At what speed? What speed did you go?
1 mile an hour.
Hey, you did it. You did it. That's all that matters.
I did do the course step by step. It was actually a cool experience because the parents were like, and I said this to Russ after the day finished up, the parents were so into their kids' health that day. It was like unbelievable. Parents were like, yeah, I want my kid to start doing marathons and start, and these kids are like 5, 4,
wow,
and 7, 8. And everybody's like, oh, I'm into my kids' health and everything like that. The parents were on the course with them, taking them through the whole thing. And like, I was like, you don't usually see that so much. You see like parents like, hey, we're going to the movies. Hey, we're going to, so we're going to go bowling. You're not like, hey, I'm taking my kids to the marathon. We're going to go kill this thing. Like, that's like unheard of to me. And I was saying the same thing to Russ, like the entire day. I was like, I cannot believe the attitude these parents have toward their kids' like physical health. Like it was unbelievable to me. But it was cool to see. Like it was a different atmosphere than I've ever been placed in. And, people were into doing the interviews. The kids were like so hyped to be interviewed because they were like, this is so cool. You got the mic in their face. And, and like, but it was a great experience. And like Russ, I would say probably like just at that starting line at any one point was probably 3,000 to 5,000 people. Like
every heat was unbelievable.
3,000 to 5,000 people, I would say. The Steelers were there. The Steelers themselves were at the starting line. So that was cool. We got to hang out with Mason Rudolph for a few minutes. So that was really cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That is
it was great time. Great.
Yeah, but they have the actual, the big marathon the next day. So they have they do like a 5K, a 10, and then the 26 on Sunday. Yes. I flew to Miami. He flew home. So we missed that. But this coming year, we'll be there for the entire weekend. And so, Yeah, we're just kind of brainstorming like, what are we going to do different this year, than we did last year. We did interview, speaking of marathon, we did interview Heather Brady, and Heather Brady was one state shy, which was Alaska, of running a marathon in all 50 states.
Oh, wow.
But last summer, Heather Brady completed the 50-state task of running a marathon in every state.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Marathon.
Marathon runners are something else.
They're a different breed.
They're different. That's like my biggest fear, right? Marrying into a family of marathoners, and they're like, "We're doing the turkey trot on Thanksgiving."
All right, guys. No Eggs podcast. We're doing a marathon, guys. We're
know
gonna
what?
live stream a marathon, guys.
I won't make it
That's
to the
our
finish
next
line.
event.
Yeah, we'll start with the 5K first.
Yeah,
See how we
I'm
do.
like, you guys won't see me at dinner then.
You'll
Like,
bike alongside us. Yeah.
They do have really cool gear, really cool medals. So I would totally do it just for that.
Just for the medal. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are sick.
You can hang that behind you for your podcast,
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
So Cam, do you have an animal? Because Pink's cat just showed up. Do you have an animal?
Oh yeah.
I do not. We've been wanting. I know. So my wife, she really wants a cat and a dog. So right
And
now we're
kids.
still living in an apartment, and then once we get a house is when we'll get pets.
All right. Right on.
Okay.
All right. Doing a little stretching exercise behind for our podcast.
Yeah. My soundproof foam. I usually don't let him in here. Last time he was in here, he pissed on the carpet. So I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. My kids wanted a cat, and we ended up with a cat. But I'm not a cat person. I mean,
That's the like girl dad, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want a cat, so we
Got to
got
give in.
At some point, this cat's gonna be a barn cat, and it's gonna end up outside. Sorry, guy. But
Enjoy the days inside while you can.
once we get you neutered, we're gonna toss you outside. No, but cats are cool. But I'm a dog guy. We've got a shepherd mix up there, and he takes care of all the rest of the dogs. He's not coming inside though, because we have a creek on the property, and he likes to go in there and track mud inside the house. And then after that, after one time of that, my wife said nope, and he became an outdoor dog. So
Yeah.
Valid.
Doesn't take long.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you guys looking forward to in 2026?
Yeah.
You personally, each of you.
Danny, go ahead, Danny, our fearless leader.
No, not even. I have so many things looking forward to 2026. I think we're only 20 days in, and so much is already happening, right? I think all over on the news, you guys are seeing what's happening in Minnesota. So I'm feeling very moved to, fight back, but in ways that I can, right? And meaning like having a compassionate heart, opening up my time, and kind of giving space, creating space for people to share their fears, their worries, right? I'm trying not to get so political on it. So I'm trying to stay centered. And I think being that person, just to be able to share with others, hey, it's scary out there, right? I think being that person and staying grounded in that, really, I'm looking forward to that. So going out into the world more with compassion. And I think as I am growing spiritually as well, I'm feeling so moved, and not in a way of like, oh, I need to get out there and fight, but like, oh my gosh, let me cry a little first and, say my prayers and then get out there. And I'm like, okay, what should I do now? And I'm like, and so I'm just like going out there and sharing how hard it is and my pain. And I think that's allowing a lot of people to feel comfortable in sharing their pain and their discomfort of what's happening as well. They're like, oh yeah, I guess not, I'm afraid to protest because I do not present as white. And so it's very real, right? What's happening out there. And so just reminding them that, hey, our fears, are real, right? Because there's an external threat, but also we don't have to live in that. And I can talk about the science of it all day. So I love educating and being able to be used in that way. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's well, I wouldn't say completely opposite. It's just more of my
It's
2026 is
Protest!
completely
I'm getting out
free.
there.
Yeah, that too. We were supposed to last week, but something came up and unfortunately we couldn't. But yeah, my 2026 is completely free actually. Looking forward to obviously just continue the podcast with Danny and Peng, and hopefully kind of grow my own food channel a little bit. This year, I just want to probably get more uncomfortable and kind of put myself into different spaces that probably will make me sweat. I do need to carry one of those portable deodorants, antiperspirant. So that's what we're gonna do this year. Get a
I'm
little
gonna hold
sweaty.
you to that.
You know what I mean?
I think you need to claim that word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Antiperspirant?
Yeah,
Yep,
that word.
Yep. So yeah, just get uncomfortable, build my skills, to connect with other people. Just like you said, Russell, be intentional. And hopefully, it'll work out. Well, I know it'll work out, but we'll get there.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Love that.
Yeah, and then as for me, I'm looking to dial things back, man. I think for the past like 4 or 5 years, I've been going like really hard at the farm and the business, and then the podcast. Like I think the goal for 2026 is just to spend more time with family. I'm not trying to do any more or any less. We've got kind of a good system down. I know it's kind of a bad time to like let up on the gas, but my girls are, they're getting older. I've got a couple more years before they don't want to hang out with daddy anymore. And so, I just want to make sure I spend a lot of time with them. And like I said, I think we've worked hard enough to kind of get us to this point where, we're not cruising by any mean, but we're just not looking to add anything more. But yeah, like I said, we've been going really hard, running off 2 hours of sleep every night for the past like 5 years. And I think this year, it's just, dial things back a little bit, just enjoy my time with my kids and family, enjoy the podcast and just kind of being present with Cam and Danny. And so I think just really appreciating some of the things that we've worked so hard to build. I started this journey, like when I started the farm, I just wanted to play with animals. The business, it came as a necessity, right? Because, otherwise it's just an expensive hobby. And so we've built that up, and now, to what it is. And, I think right now the goal is just to enjoy it. And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's great.
So we went from caring to antiperspirant to dial back.
Yeah.
That's great.
How about you guys?
Glad you guys are in sync.
Dan, what's your word? What's your word, Dan? 2026. Yeah.
My word is uncomfortable. That's
Yeah.
why. That's why I kind of tossed my fist up when Cam said that. So my word is uncomfortable for 26. Last year it was connected. This year it's uncomfortable. And I think, and me and Russ have had this conversation a few times off air. Like, you could connect it to so many things. Being uncomfortable. You get into a conference room or something like that. It's like, okay, how do I make myself uncomfortable in this room? That's an easy one. And, you can go up to people and get out of your comfort zone and stuff like that. But you could apply it anywhere, really. Like, you're in whatever, driving down the street and like, you're like, oh, I see this place. And it's like, I don't really want to go in there. It's not really my thing. It's a new library or something like that. Hey, that makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm going to put myself inside and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, something along those lines. And I just kind of trigger my mind now every time I'm in certain situations. Like, all right, would this make me uncomfortable? Yes. All right, I'm going to try it anyway. That's kind of how I look at it now. And like, I've said this to Russ, like, I just said this, but just kind of like, I look at the whole room and say, all right, what would make me uncomfortable and what could make me grow right now? Mm-hmm. Just seeing what's in front of me. And I try to just put myself in those situations. Like, you made the joke about the pickleball having a bar and stuff like that. When you go to the bar and hang out with your friends, I try to talk to somebody next to me now. Like, I know that sounds crazy because people are like, yo, that's weird, dude. And I'm like, and I'm always just like, I don't care. My buddy, I have a good friend. He might be even listening right now. Russ knows him too. Anthony. He's a restaurant owner. He is the most socially skilled guy you'll ever meet in your life. He talks to everybody at the bar, everybody. And he has grown so many business relationships out of just talking to people next to him. And that's just something I've kind of learned from him a little bit. Like, who cares if it's uncomfortable? They're either going to shut you down, you're never going to see him again, or you make something out of it. Who cares? And the worst that happens is they shut you down and they say, hey, dude, I don't really want to talk to you. All right, whatever. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's like the same thing being in a conference room. I talk to somebody, we don't hit it off. Oh, well, but it's either, Russ always says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think that's Kobe Bryant, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. So that's how I look at things now and just get uncomfortable and see what comes out of it.
That's awesome.
I love that so much. And I am sure everyone here understands the neuroscience behind that, right? It's like when you're put into uncomfortable places or uncomfortable things and you create, if you don't resist it, your brain is now creating new neural pathways to think that way next time, right? How can I be uncomfortable but shift this way of thinking? And so I love that. And you're like strengthening that muscle, Dan. And every time, because you don't automatically just think that. No one walks into a room and is like, how can I make this so uncomfortable for myself?
It's a weird thought process. Here's also like the thing that I try to like talk to myself about is I'm going to do something right now that 99% of people would not do. Because even like putting yourself in that room, like we were all just talking about, 99% of people are not going to even put themselves in the room. They're going to avoid the situation completely and not get anything out of it because they're too scared to do it and too scared to make themselves uncomfortable.
Yes.
If I look at it from a standpoint of how do I get myself really uncomfortable here, being a little bit uncomfortable is not going to matter to me. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of scale it in my mind. I know it sounds crazy, but it works a little bit.
It does. And isn't there a saying? It's like what you pay now to be comfortable, you pay later tenfold because you're uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. I think about the price of regret. You think about the price of regret. So that's kind of how I look at things now. It's like, what if I didn't talk to that person? What if I never talked to Russ in that room or Russ never talked to me in that room?
Right.
We wouldn't all be sitting here right now.
I would have forced myself upon him.
That's the secret. That's the secret. There we go. Now we got it.
That's so true. That's so true.
You're going to talk to me.
But it's just so true. It's like, what's the worst that's going to happen? And like, it's funny because I work in the medical field. So there's a lot of students who come in and stuff like that. And like, they're younger guys and, they always talk to me like, oh, I got a date tonight, this and that. Like, I don't really know what to say. It's like, oh, I really like that girl in the class, but I don't really know how to ask her out. I'm like, and looking back, I'm 37 now. Some of these kids who are coming into the medical field now are 22, 23 years old. They're young. So, that used to be me. Yeah. When I was 24, 25, I came into medicine. But I always say, I'm like, dude, just ask her.
That's so scary. Like, what do you mean?
Nothing bad can happen. The worst she says is no. And trust me, you're going to get a lot of no's in life in a lot of different avenues. Like, it doesn't matter. You have to just face rejection to some degree. Mm-hmm. The only thing that comes out of it is greatness. That's the only thing that comes out of it is just asking that girl out. Worst case scenario, she says no, whatever. But I look at it from a standpoint of life too. Worst thing that happens is I get rejected. Me and Russ talk about, how do we scale this podcast? How do we become bigger? We talk to people. We ask them, we try to get sponsors. We try to do this. Worst case, they say no. Who cares? Go to the next one. Like it doesn't matter. That's how you have to kind of look at things, in my opinion. Now it's like, all right. And like, you can't take a lot of things so seriously. You can't take rejection seriously either, because at the same time you get rejected. It's like, oh man, that just killed my confidence. That just, now I don't want to do the next one. It's not, you have to kind of just let it brush off your shoulders and like, keep going. Just be resilient.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, my motto in life is the answer is always no if you don't ask.
That's right. That's what he says to me every time. And I'm like, I'm crazy with the podcast. I'm like, oh man, I want to talk to David Goggins. I want Goggins on here.
Yeah.
And Russ is like,
Ooh,
ask him.
yes.
Russ is like, just ask him. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask David Goggins. He's like, why not? The answer is always no unless you ask.
Don't you want to hear the word no rather than assume that they're going to say no, right? I mean,
David
that's
Goggins
the difference, right?
He spoke
In that case, he might not even see the message, or he may not even reply.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so you might as well ask.
Yeah, that's true.
Just got to
You
get comfortable with it and see what happens. Like that's my thought process now.
No,
It's
that's
just,
awesome, Dan.
That's an excellent thought process. I'm gotta make sure I write that down.
Yeah.
From
You have
Russell.
to re-listen to this episode, Cam.
That's it. That's it.
that's it.
I've been taking notes, so I'll send it to you. Russ, you're 2026.
Unrecognizable.
Mm.
That this year is the year of growth. And, you know, I personally have been growing over these last number of years since I wrote and launched my, my first books in 23. So going from there, putting myself in the room, meeting people, networking, just like, meeting Danny. I mean, we weren't, we were brought together through Sally, a mutual friend. It wasn't like we met at a conference. But, meeting people like this that are, integral part of your life that going forward, right? That you align and you go. And so, creating conferences, with events. I've got 4 events this year that putting together that Dan's going to be a part of. Danny's going to be a part of. Pang, you and Cam are going to be a part of Minnesota. Bring your animals. We'll talk about animals. We'll talk about livestock. We'll talk about no eggs. Whatever you want to talk about. But unrecognizable that by the end of this year, that my goal when I look back at 1 year, from now, when I look back at January and say to myself, wow, where have I grown? What have I done? And I want to look at myself and just say, the growth this year that I don't even recognize myself from a year ago, right? And that, whether it's spiritually, whether it's, mentally, whether it's physically, whatever aspect of life that I want to grow in that area. So that's my launch pad for this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It's huge, unrecognizable.
I think that's perfect because I don't know if you guys follow Chinese zodiacs, right? But it's the year of the fire horse. And so the new year hasn't actually started, right? Because the Lunar New Year starts February 17th. And if you pay attention to the lunar calendar, it makes sense, right? Because January is still part of winter. And so the new year hasn't started. And so in February, when the new year does start, the fire horse is supposed to represent going forward, right? Putting all your efforts in and being pulled forward towards your goals. Because last year, the year of the snake, was you shedding a lot of your old habits, a lot of old ways of thinking, and like parts of you that you no longer need. And this year, as we move towards the horse, right, a lot of your dreams, a lot of your goals will come to fruition if you continue pushing forward.
Oh,
damn, Danny. I think we're going to add that as a new segment on the podcast.
Man.
You're going to, like, every episode, we're going to need you to break down zodiac signs.
Fire horse.
That's like,
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, where did that come from?
ADHD. Sometimes at
Yeah.
3 a.m. when I can't sleep, I'm like, what does this mean?
Man, yeah. I do got a question for you guys if you guys have time. Is that okay?
sure.
Yeah. Dan, Russell, you guys are a year into the podcast. Like, we're fairly new as well, too. Like, what do you guys what would you guys say is like one of your biggest takeaways from starting the podcast? I mean, you guys are 1 year in, same as us.
Yeah. I mean, as far as honestly, the biggest takeaway I've gotten is, and this is going to relate to getting guests on and stuff like that. Like, just ask. Like, this is something like me and Russ have talked about this. And like, when we first started up, I was like, who's going to want to come on this podcast, dude? Like, it's going to be me and you every week. How are we going to get people to come on here?
Boring.
Right? And like, we did the first session and like, so Frank Seppi was the first episode that we had on this podcast. And Frank Seppi is like, he's a local guy to me. He lives on Long Island. He's probably about a half an hour away. And he's got 1 million followers on Instagram. He is a huge muscle and fitness editor. He knows every single professional bodybuilder that there's ever been. He is massive in the fitness industry. And I said to Russ, I was like, dude, This would be a great guy to get on here. He's going to say no, I'm telling you right now, but let's just give it a shot. I kid you not. He hit me back in like an hour. He's like, I'd love to come on. And I was just like, I said, I called Russ at like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, you're not going to believe this. And he's like, what? And I was like, Steffi just said yes to coming on. He's like, what? And that's how we started up. And the one thing I've learned, honestly, is that, you know, just ask people, just throw questions out there, just, you know, see what they think about things. And, you know, just for instance sake, we had Dan Sikowski on last week, who's like a massive entrepreneur. He's actually listening right now. I see him on Instagram. What's up, Dan?
What up, Big D?
Big D. But, you know, we were asking them just business questions, and like, they're willing to give you information. They're willing to talk to you. You know, that's the most interesting thing to me. Mikey Taylor on 2 weeks, 1 million Instagram followers, massive entrepreneur out in California in SoCal, started with skateboarding, friends with Rob Deerdeck, all professional guys. And like, you know, it was just, he's willing to give you the information. He's willing to talk to you, willing to sit down with you. Like, that's one thing I've learned from this, is that people are good. People are nice. People have, like, you know, this thing about them where they want to disclose what they know. It's really interesting, because I always feel like everybody always gatekeeped. I always feel like, you know, people don't really want to tell you how they made their money. You know, people don't want to tell you how to do things. It's not really the case. People coming on here are willing to tell us all their knowledge, their, you know, what they've learned through podcasting, social media, whatever it be. And it's really cool, honestly, just to get that feedback and learn from them and everything like that. That's been my biggest takeaway, is just getting information from the guests, and, you know, that people are willing to talk to you. People are willing to come on your show and, you know, say what they know. And, you know, it's really cool. And that's one thing I've gained out of this, is just, you know, and me and Russ have obviously gained a lot of friendships and networking out of podcasting, honestly. And with Russ, I think how many people you've spoken to who want to come on the podcast, who you've, you know, retained that relationship with, who you talk to on a weekly basis now and stuff like that. So I think that's a big takeaway from, you know, just having a podcast in general, is people want to come on, say what they know, and, you know, teach.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Like, when we first started, like, we're not so guest centric now, but like in the beginning, like the first season with the previous co-host, like, we were like very guest centric. And I mean, the amount of people that we had on, like, and like, I mean, some of these people were like pretty big, like, and we had no business talking to at all. But you just realize at some point that people are just dying to share their stories.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And they're looking for a place to share their stories, and they're willing to tell you, you know, you just, essentially the podcast is just the perfect and most appropriate place to do that. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I go off of what Dan said, is like, you know, the answer is always no if you don't ask, right? And people have a story. We all five of us have a story, right? And we have an opportunity to share that story if we want to share that story. So people do want to share. Some people, podcasting, being a guest, you know, we just say, let's organically, you know, go about, and, you know, we don't draft up, you know, questions or anything. But I'll tell you, Mikey Taylor, he was a former professional skateboarder. Yeah. I had seen a post of his after the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I didn't know Mikey at all. My son followed him because he was a skateboarder. I didn't know him at all, but what he said really resonated with me. So I just hit him up on Instagram and I said, dude, that was powerful, right? 1 million followers, so many people that are DMing him one way or the other, depending on what you believe in. And within a short period of time, he responded. And I said, I would love to have you come on the podcast. Boom. That was back in October. Yeah. He was just on in January. We kicked off January 2026. The answer is no if you don't ask, right? And it just started with an organic, you know, statement to him to just say how powerful it was and what it meant to me, and the fact that he responded, and then we just kind of took it from there. So, you know, with that, you know, going to conferences, networking with people, you know, meeting Danny, it's like you just talk, and you develop these friendships, and then you find out what people do, and they align with your message of your podcast. And then, because we said we'll alternate every other week. We'll have a guest, and then it's just Dan and I. We have a guest, and then it's just Dan and I. Well, it just materialized, and, you know, now the waiting list of, you know, people to ask is huge. Like, it's just unbelievable. like, you know, and then you're continually meeting people along the way. Or you think of, you know, like Goggins, like, okay, well, I need to ask him, or, you know, whatever. So it's just amazing, right?
You just have to tag him now.
Yeah, everybody tag Goggins.
Boom.
I'm just gonna put him in every single dual coast.
There was somebody who did that for Vans, and every time he posted a video, he would tag Vans, the shoe. And then they finally messaged him back. They were like, "Please stop tagging us."
Oh man, that's got to be heartbreaking.
I don't know if that was fake or real, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
A no is better than assuming, right?
So that's right.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you know what? One of the last question that we like to ask everybody that's on our show is that we make this statement, and I would just like to ask each of the three of you to respond to this: that wellness is not about perfection, but it's about progress. Mm-hmm. And I would love for each of you to respond in your own way. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. Yeah, for me, yeah, just like you said, it's progress. It's a journey. You know, it's never a destination. You just kind of, especially for me right now, I am trying to kind of better my health, better my diet, going to the gym, playing pickleball, basketball. This past holiday season, I ended up gaining like 10 pounds. So I've noticed that when I do go play sports, my cardio. And just my endurance in general kind of dropped. So yeah, I have been kind of bettering my diets, going to the gym more, and not just physically, but also mentally as well. So even talking to you guys, you know, being uncomfortable, not knowing what the answer will be, you just have to ask it. I think that helps a lot. So yeah, it's going well.
Awesome,
yeah, Cam. I've known you for a
you.
long time, man, and you came a long way, man. I'm proud of you, though.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice, man.
Kind of the same thing. You know, it's a journey. I'm still on my journey. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, and Peng used to be a bodybuilder too, you know. So
yeah. That was about like 70 pounds ago.
Yeah.
10 years and 70 pounds ago. You know, and no more darts for me. But yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, if we want to talk about that physical health, I mean, yeah, football in high school, wrestled in high school, I competed in competitive bodybuilding. Then eventually, you know, right now, it's just about mobility. You know, that's where my health journey has taken me. It's just about moving, being able to move well, being able to function, making sure that I can still play with my kids, move around, feed my animals. And so it's a continual growth. But everything that I've learned from those early days of eating 7 meals a day, like it still sticks with me. You know, I still carry that same discipline with everything I do, with the farm and the podcast. You know, I put everything into it, everything into like what I do. And so, yeah, I mean, it's growth, but it's also like making sure you're learning and you're taking something from everything that you do. Yeah. You know, I've learned a little. I've taken something from bodybuilding. I've taken something from farming. I've taken something, you know, from everything that I've done, and I continue to carry it with me to this day. And yeah, it's ever growing, you know, and I'm super grateful for it.
That's awesome, Peng.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I think kind of just to echo off of what Cam and Peng both said, it is definitely a journey. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big physical health kind of person. And I think a big part of that is I've had, luckily, good metabolism, and I lose weight easier than I gain weight, because I had a goal of gaining 10 15 pounds this year, and then my church started doing this fasting thing, and I fasted for 7 days, and I lost like 8 pounds, and I was like, wait,
yeah,
wrong direction.
This is why the Navy didn't want me.
Yeah.
You got to weigh at least 100 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So weight, like physical health, has always been not always a priority because I'm like, how do I work out without, gaining weight or without losing weight? And so it's a process, but I think that is what it is, right? It's a process, and understanding that what works for me doesn't work for others, right? What works for others doesn't work for me. And so I think having that posture, right? The heart posture of, okay, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of this? And am I ready to dedicate myself to the process? Which before it used to be, a physical goal of like, okay, I want to look like this. And it's like, okay, but first of all, I don't know how my body, reacts to all these different things. And so I need to understand what kind of things are going on with my body first, right? And so I think it is a whole process. I can't just go out and start working out and lifting weights because, again, I'm 100 pounds, I'm lifting the bar, and that's a lot already. So
you'd be surprised, man. We're gonna sign you up for your first powerlifting meet.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I don't think it'll work because until now, part of the process is learning how to work out, and I've been doing a lot of bouldering, and so it's a lot of body workout. And y'all, I say this. If I were to do this again, this is why the Navy didn't want me. If I were to do a pull up to save my life, I would fall and die. So, okay, making fitness, a goal this year where I actually focus and not just focus on, this is what I want to look like. This is the outcome, and not sticking to this is what I desire, right? But rather, okay, how do I want to feel? How do I put myself in that position of loving myself through this process instead of, that's what I want to look like.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
And then, is it okay if I add one more thing? I totally forgot to say, as we've gotten older, what I also realized as part of the fitness progress, the journey, that we have to be able to adapt to the way our body is going, because I realized I do need to start doing a lot more stretches than usual. In the morning time, I do those little morning workouts just to get my body going, and even. Before, after sports, I wouldn't stretch or anything. I wouldn't ice my knees or anything. And now I find myself, that I have to do that. I even tried incorporating yoga, which is highly uncomfortable for me. But I think it's
word
working,
again.
though.
There's your word right there,
and, but I think it is working. So, because my body it's recovering a lot better than before. Because obviously, we're not young anymore. We kind of have to go and do these extra steps. But that's what I've started to learn. Kind of be able to adapt.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we got to get you on.
Good job. Well, Payne, Cam, Danny, No Eggs Podcast. Thanks for being on Dual Coast and for having a great rap session. This has been an enjoyable Tuesday morning. Enjoyable.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where can everybody find you guys? What's your handles?
No Eggs Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. What's
TikTok.
the other one? TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. Me personally, Gorilla Pastures. We're on Facebook and Instagram, gorillapastures.com. Again, we just do a bunch of like farm, youth education stuff. That's me.
Yeah, and then if you want to see like food reviews or anything like that, that would be me. It's just Cam, Kam, and then the letter U, and then Eat, EAT.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Danny, hopefully the next time we talk, you got a goat.
Yeah.
She'll be bringing it.
I'll have a goat with Guinness next time.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm like, guys, I got a goat. Next is the farm. If the Navy will take me, no.
You just gotta tag them.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I emailed them and I was like, hey, I would just like to follow up on my application. Nothing.
They don't want you.
They don't want
They don't want me. Hey, you guys are saying rejection, it shouldn't hurt. I'm feeling rejection, it hurt.
Just go for a walk with your dog. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, man. So it's been a great morning. Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate it. Dual Coast Podcast signing off this morning. No Eggs Podcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.